When was the last time you felt truly creative, not just productive, but alive with imagination? We often talk about creativity as painting, writing, or making music, but creativity is deeper than a talent. Nawal al-Sadawi once declared, without creativity, there is no life, and without creativity, you cannot revolt. Creativity, then, is not decoration. It's not extra. It's not just painting a picture, writing a poem, or composing a song. Creativity is a way of life, a philosophy that guides one's life. It is how you exist as a whole being in the world. This truth is urgent. We are born creative. Watch any child and you'll see it. They play, they invent, they see connections adults no longer see. Creativity is our natural birthright. It is the thread that weaves imagination, freedom, and truth into being. But here is the tension. Systems built on fear, trauma, and control spend enormous energy trying to kill it. To be creative is to revolt against anything that reduces your humanity. Creativity refuses to be silenced, numbed, or controlled. It speaks when you are told to stay quiet. It imagines when you are told to conform. It reveals truth in the face of denial. This is why creativity is inseparable from justice. Wherever there is injustice, creativity rises as a form of resistance. It evolves. It grows new languages. It paints freedom before freedom arrives. Creativity is the seed of every movement, invention, and transformation. El-Sadawi named education as one of the greatest assassins of creativity, not because knowledge itself is harmful, but because of the way knowledge is structured and delivered in most systems. Education divides knowledge into fragments. You learn math in one room, literature in another, and science in another. Rarely are you taught to connect them. Rarely do you see how they weave into a holistic understanding of life. It teaches repetition, not imagination. You're rewarded for memorizing and repeating what's already been said, not for asking new questions. Creativity is sidelined because it doesn't fit into standardized tests. It discourages holistic vision. Instead of seeing the world as an interconnected whole, you're trained to think in narrow boxes. This fragmentation makes it easier to control you because you no longer see the bigger picture. El-Sadawi's warning was clear. When creativity is killed, revolution is killed. If you cannot imagine otherwise, you cannot resist. And if you cannot think beyond the script you've been given, you cannot write a new one. So pause here and ask yourself, how have I experienced this in my own schooling or work environments? When was I awarded for obedience rather than imagination or a different view or opinion? When was I silenced, corrected, or redirected away from curiosity? Notice what arises. Those moments carry insight into how your own creativity has been shaped, suppressed, or resisted. So if creativity is innate, why do so many people feel cut off from it? Creativity doesn't disappear. It gets blocked. So imagine a river that naturally wants to flow, but boulders and debris slow it down. Common blocks include fear, fear of judgment. From early childhood, we are taught that mistakes equal failure. The result is hesitation, silence, and self-censorship. The voice that says, what if I'm wrong? What if I look foolish? Trauma loops. When your body is locked in survival mode, there is no spaciousness for play or exploration. Rigid systems. Schools, workplaces, and even families often reward obedience over curiosity or originality. The creative impulse is punished, dismissed, or reshaped into performance, control, and conformity. The pressure to fit in silences the unique impulse to express differently. When difference is labeled as dangerous, people hide their authentic expression for safety. So, which of these blocks feel familiar to you? And can you recall a moment when one of these stopped you from expressing an idea, asking a question, or creating something? Creativity doesn't just get blocked, it can be suffocated. It dies when your attention is colonized by noise, endless consumption, and productivity demands. It dies when imagination is reduced to profit, when expression is only valued if it sells, and when curiosity is treated as a waste of time. Blocks can be cleared, but sometimes the environment itself suffocates creativity. What kills it outright? Performance culture, when expression must always serve productivity, profit, or perfection. Colonized attention, when constant noise, distraction, and consumption leave no spaciousness for imagination. And commodified imagination, when creativity is only valued if it sells. Art becomes product, not expression. Where in your life have you felt that your creativity was only valued if it proved something, earned something, or met someone else's standard? And how did that affect your willingness to keep creating? Nawal reminded us, without creativity, you cannot revolt. But revolt does not always look like protest in the streets. Sometimes revolt begins silently in the seat of your own attention. Systems built on fear, trauma, and control do not just silence creativity, they steal focus. They scatter you with distraction, flood you with noise, and train you to give energy to what doesn't truly matter to you. If your attention is always consumed, you cannot imagine. Otherwise, you cannot create. You cannot revolt. Discernment is the power to see clearly. This is mine. That is not. This nourishes me. That drains me. This deserves my focus. That does not. It is not just decision making, it is resistance. Each act of discernment is a refusal to let external forces dictate where your energy flows. To redirect your attention is to revolt. Every time you choose to center your focus on what enlivens you, your breath, your body, your art, your truth, you reclaim your life from systems that seek to fragment and control it. When you withdraw attention from noise, you weaken its grip. When you feed attention into creativity, you grow freedom. When you choose what truly matters to you, you revolt against what was chosen for you. So, what currently consumes too much of your attention? Where do you long to place your attention instead? What small shift of attention today could act as your own personal revolt? Your attention is not neutral, but rather a form of currency. Where it flows, life flows. The truth is, you don't need to learn how to be creative because it never truly dies. It can always be remembered, reawakened. You need to clear away the fear, the performance, and the conditioning that taught you to mistrust your own voice. What frees it is not external permission, but an inner return to what was always here. Be curious, allowing yourself to wonder, to ask, to explore without needing the answer first. Discernment is the ability to notice, this drains me, this enlivens me, this is noise, This is signal. Master your attention. The mastery of attention is the practice of redirecting focus toward what truly matters to you again and again. Practice presence, returning attention to the here and now instead of rehearsing old judgments or future outcomes. And seeing the whole, refusing to be trapped in fragments, connecting dots, noticing patterns, and trusting interconnection. Creativity thrives where attention is anchored with care. Even one small act of curiosity, a question, a doodle, a daydream, can open the door to freedom. And so ask yourself, when do I feel most alive, most connected to the spark inside me? Who or what makes me feel like I need to dim that spark? And what small act of revolt, what small act of truth can I practice today? Creativity is not optional. It is survival, evolution, and justice in motion. When you create, you are not only shaping your life, you are shaping the future of humanity.